If you're new to Airtable or databases in general, you're in the right place. I'll show you how to build your first Airtable app. We'll set up tables, connect them with linked records, and we'll even build a quick dashboard using interfaces. So what is Airtable? You can think of it like a spreadsheet, but smarter. You still have rows and columns, but now you can link data between tables, add dropdowns, files, dates, and even automate tasks. You can use it for things like project management, ordering and invoicing systems, and a simple CRM. Whatever you'd normally build in Google Sheets, but better. Check it out. Welcome back. I'm Zack from InnerDev Solutions. We help businesses streamline their processes using custom no-code tools so you can focus on what matters most. To learn more, you can visit our website, innerdevsolutions.com, or use the link in the description below. When you first log in, you'll see workspaces. These are like folders for different projects. And then within the workspace, you'll see the different bases. And a base is just a database. Each database contains the tables, and then within each table, it has your rows and columns of data. But in Airtable, a column is a field and a row is a record, which actually contains the information. What we're going to do, we are going to create a new base. If you do not have an Airtable account already, link in the description below to get started. But we'll go in and we will click create. And we will start from scratch. And first thing we will do, we will name our base and we'll call it projects. You can also select a color. We'll just go with a darker blue, and you can select icons as well. And then from here, you have your table. You can add additional tables using this button, and you can start from scratch. You can also import data, but we'll keep it really simple, and we will just start within our table. This will look familiar to something like Excel or Google Sheets at this point, but it does operate differently as it's a relational database, and it allows you to build more flexible applications and tools. There is limitations just by the nature of the database in comparison to Google Sheets. If you're trying to reference cells and other rows and columns, and you're trying to perform different equations, that is where Google Sheets is much better for you. But there's a lot that you can do within the database and get information and data and reports and calculations built right in with a tool like this. I'll show you all of that shortly. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go up here and just call this project management. And then within our table, we'll double click it and I will just rename this to projects. We can set up some basic fields now for the projects table. And there's going to be a few things that are going to be relevant to a project. That could be something like the name, status, due date, any other field that's relevant to the specific project as well. Highlight all these and delete all those fields. I'll hit plus and I'm just going to type in single select and we'll call this status, and we can add a few options. So this is pending, in process, and complete. We'll keep it really simple and we'll add a default of pending. We can change the colors of these options here. I'll go with gray, a yellow, and a green for complete, and we can create that field. I'm going to add in a due date as well. I'll just look up a date field. I'll label this due date. We can change the date format. I'll just select this US, and you have a couple other options here as well, but I will just leave it as is and click create field. Now the name, this is a primary key or primary field, and it's important throughout the whole system. Once you start creating linked fields, it's good and best to have these unique, but in the projects case, you could probably, depending on how many projects you're going to be working on at a time, you could leave this as a manual field and just make sure they are unique. I'm just going to go through and label them project 1, 2, and 3. This next part is where Airtable becomes really powerful, where you can link records. What we need to do first is we will add a new table, and I will call this tasks. I will delete all of those fields, and we'll come back to this in a minute. I'll select projects. I'm going to click this plus icon, and if I go to this link to another record, this is going to allow us to select another table that we can link to. In project management, we're going to have projects, we're going to have tasks, and within a project, you could have any number of tasks, but a task will only link to one project. And you'll see what that's like in a second. We'll link to another record. We're going to link to the tasks table, and we will allow linking to multiple records because one project can have multiple tasks. So I'll create field. I'm just going to leave this blank. It will create a field name for us based off of the table. Now we are linking to the tasks table. If we go into tasks, we can see it also did it in reverse. It created a new field for us and links it back to projects. And if I right click and edit field, or I can just double click, we can see that it links to the projects table. And in this case, it allows linking to multiple records, but we want to turn this off because a task should only link to one project. We'll disable that, click save, and we will just confirm this change. Now here is where we would like to create a unique field. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click plus, single line text, and we'll call this task name, and we'll create the field. And then we are going to dynamically create a unique primary key or primary field ID. And what we're going to do is just double click, call this task ID. We'll select this dropdown. We'll search formula, and we can use a concatenate function, and we'll look up the task name. This is going to reference this field. So we'll select task name, use a comma with quotes, and add a dash in there. Then we can look up the projects field, and then we'll close that out and hit save. We'll confirm the change. And now I can label task 1, task 2, and task 3. And we'll add one more task in here, task 4. And we'll link all of these to project 1. And when I click this plus icon, we can see all the projects that are back in our projects table of project 1. And I will just fill all of those and link them all to project 1. And you can see our formula work. It shows our task name, and then it's also referencing the project that it's linked to. And now if we click back into projects, I'll just extend this out. We can see that this project has now linked to all of these different tasks. Now within the projects table, I'm going to click this plus icon, and you can see a list of all of the different data types that are available within Airtable. And there is a long list of them. The more you use them, the more you'll get familiar, but some of them are really simple, like we've touched on is date, but there's also phone number, email fields, URL fields, number, currency, and so on. The way that you can use a few of these field types that are really powerful with the linked record field is we'll jump back into tasks and we will create a new number field. We'll just call this hours. And we can imagine that we're going to be logging our time against each of these tasks, for example, and let's just add in 2, 3, 4, and 5 hours for each of these tasks. And now I can reference that data back in the projects table. So if I come into here and click plus, there's 2 field types that work closely with the linked record. One of them is a lookup field type, and now the select lookup source, I've selected tasks. So we're looking at the linked records in this field. And then the one that we want to look at is the hours. And then there's some additional settings here, but I won't get into that right now. And I'll click create field, and we can see that it's brought in and looked up a list of all of those values that are linked here, which in this case, when we're using numbers, is not likely that helpful. But where it is helpful is if we go in, we'll create a roll-up field. Again, we're going to look at the task table, and now we're going to look at hours, and then we have a formula that it populates here, and this is just going to sum. So it's going to total up all of the values in the task table. If I create this field, we can see that it's 14, and if we add up all these values, it will equal 14. That's how you can use the lookup and roll-up fields to be able to reference data in other tables. Really quickly, I'll touch on views. You can see this icon here. If I click views, it pops out from the left, and there's grid, calendar, gallery, Kanban views. If you're on a paid plan, you can access the timeline and Gantt views as well. And there's also a list view. So I'm not going to go into each of these individually, but as you can imagine, a calendar view, if you had date fields on here, that could be useful for project management. The gallery, this is something that I personally don't use as often in projects, but if you're in the social media or marketing world where you want to reference different images and display information that way, this could be useful. Kanban, a lot of people are familiar with that. It just creates cards on a Kanban board so that you can organize different tasks and projects that way. And then list view is really powerful as well once you get more familiar with Airtable. One way this could be useful is right now we just have a grid view that's showing all of our data. We could create another grid view. So I'm going to come in here, duplicate the view, and then just call this active. I will just hide that pop out for a moment. And I'm going to add one more field type that's just a single select, and it's a status. I'm just going to go with pending, in process, and complete. Now this is where we can use filter, groups, and sort. Sort's pretty straightforward. You can pick whatever field you want and you can sort it by. If you had numbers or values, you could sort by that way, or in alphabetical order. You can group by different fields as well. Let's say we had multiple different tasks that are linking to different projects. I will just quickly add in a couple more records. I'll just label this task 1 and task 2, and I'll link this one to the project 2. And now we can see if I go back into views, grid view, it's listed all of our data. But if I go into active tasks, click group and group by projects, we can see that it's now organized our data in that way. And it's not changing any of the data. You're not wanting to come in here and now delete fields to hide them from this specific view. All it's doing is just showing you the information that you're looking for in that specific view. So if in this view, we don't really care about the status, we can come in here and hide it. And now it's not visible, but it still exists. So if we go back into grid view, it will show all our data. This views panel is just simply to display information in different formats. And then the last thing is filter. If I bring back in the status and I wanted to filter out complete tasks because I didn't care to see them in this view, I can come into filter, we'll add a condition, we'll go status, and we'll select this as any of, pending, and in process. And now it's going to show us any record that is in pending or in process status. Then one more field type that I'm going to show you is the formula. I'm going to click this add. I'll bring in a currency field. We'll call this rate, and we'll add that in here. And let's say our rate is $100. We'll fill all that. And now I'll just move the hours over. If we want to take our hours, multiply it by the rate to get our total, we can click this plus icon. We'll search formula. And in this case, we can just type in hours. We want to select our hours field. We'll add in the multiplication symbol and we'll multiply it by the rate, which is here. We'll create the field once we label it, we'll type in total. And if I double click again, go into formatting, we can change this to a currency format and hit save. And now we can see that it has taken the hours multiplied by the rate to give us the total. I'm just going to right click, duplicate field, and I will just type in total to label it. I'm just going to change the field that we're looking at to the total. We're just going to sum up the total value. And now we can see this project is at $900. You can see there's an automations tab as well. That's slightly more advanced, and I am not going to get into it in this video. But the last thing I do want to touch on is this interfaces tab, and it allows you to organize your data and display dashboards in a really structured way that's more familiar to most users. Instead of clicking around between the two tables of projects and tasks, what you can do is come into interfaces. We will start building and we'll build an interface. We can just click next. And what I want to do, I'm going to come down into this record review. And now there's a bunch of different layouts you can choose from, but I will start in the record review here, select next, and I'm going to look at each project. And I'll just click through each of these, label this projects, and we will get started. Now I've got a projects interface, and we can see here I've got a record selector. I can go through and select each individual project. And then on this side, based off of on the right, the fields that are displaying in the back end, if you wanted to hide status or the name because the name exists here, you could select the name, select this action, and remove. And now we can see the status, the due date, and if you select on each of these fields, you can make them editable in line or not. And then same here, it's showing all of our tasks. But the nice part about this is the task is not as usable in this format, I find. So if you click view, it can put it into a list view. And now we can see we have a project that has a status, a due date. This is having the lookup to hours. So we can actually remove that one. And we may want to click this plus icon and bring in the hours roll up. This is showing the total hours logged on all of the tasks. And then if we scroll down, we can see in line all of the different fields that exist in the task table. So if we want to bring in hours, the rate, the status, the total, and we can remove or hide the task ID in this case. And you can shift around the width of these different columns, and you can reorganize these columns as well. If I click this, I can change the status to being up here. Again, I'll close that up a little bit. And now if I click this preview, we can see that we have project one has our status, due date, and hours, and then also all of our tasks. If you want to, you can go down to the user actions. You can edit records in line. You can add and delete records in line as well. If I select both of those on, we can see that when I go into preview mode, I can now add a task, or I can come in here and change the status to in process. Or if I've taken 5 hours on it now, I can change it to 5 hours. And the last thing, I'm going to click on this left panel again. If I scroll to the bottom, you can see that we can add record through a form. If I enable that, there's now a plus icon up here. So I can now add project records as well. I'm going to quickly recap everything. If I click this data tab up, it will go back to our database. And now we have our 2 tables, projects and tasks. We have the linked records. We have values that are being summed up and totaled based off of the values in the different tasks table. We've reviewed the views that are available. So if I select tasks, I can filter, group, and sort different records based off of various fields within our system. And then we finally touched on interfaces, which is the exact same data as the database, but it just allows you to structure and lay out the information in a more structured way. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tutorials in the future.